Well, a lot of you might remember this powerful moment from Condoleezza Rice's speech at the 2012 RNC.
And on a personal note, a little girl grows up in Jim Crow, Birmingham, the segregated city of the South where her parents can't take her to a movie theater or to a restaurant. But they have her absolutely convinced that even if she can't have a hamburger at the Woolworth's lunch counter, she could be President of the United States if she wanted to be, and she becomes the Secretary of State. Yes, 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 America has a way of making the impossible seem inevitable in retrospect, but we know it was never inevitable. It took leadership, and it took courage, and it took belief in our values.
Well, less than 2 years later, Eric Holder painted a much more grim picture of race in America. Here's the Attorney General at Morgan State University this past weekend.
Codified segregation of public schools has been barred since Brown, but in too many of our school districts, significant divisions persist and segregation has reoccurred, including zero-tolerance school discipline practices that, while well-intentioned and aimed at promoting school safety, affect black males at a rate 3 times higher than their white peers.
What a difference in speeches. Bob, this is the first speech, really, that the Attorney General has gone off about race since the speech that he gave in 2009, where Rahm Emanuel was very angry that the Attorney General stood up and basically called everyone in the United States a nation of cowards. Why does the Attorney General choose these messages?
Well, because there's a lot of truth to it. That's why. And I think that when you have the federal court, the federal jails incarcerate black men and give them 30% more of a number of years in prison for the same crime as a white man gets, there's something wrong with that. When you have schools in the inner city that used to have some white students in it, now all black. When you have these zero tolerance programs for anything that you do wrong, it affects black children. If you look at it, there is still, and I say this over and over again, there is still racism in America. It is not the way it was before. We've made a long and determined road away from Jim Crow. But let's also keep in mind, she grew up in a middle-class black family. And we're talking here about people who are in the inner city. I'm not sure Condoleezza Rice is the person that I would necessarily turn to as a symbol for these people who live in the ghetto.
Really, Bob? Wow. That's where you're going to go with this segment?
That's exactly right.
Well, let me jump in here. 2 things that you and Eric Holder said. I think he said that zero-tolerance disciplinary policies affect black males more in school. Now, why is that? Okay. Why is that? Do they misbehave more than white students? Okay. Well, then why is that? His solution is to lower the standards to accommodate the misbehaving black male students. What's the other solution? Maybe address the root cause of the misbehavior. Is it something going on at home? Is it drugs? What's the problem? He wants to lower standards. We want to bring other people up. And the other thing that you said and Eric Holder said is that blacks are incarcerated at 20 times more rate for the same crime as whites. You know what that study doesn't account for? It doesn't account for priors. So if someone has 3 prior convictions for slang and crack, and a white guy does it and a black guy does it, the black guy with 3 priors is going to go away for a longer time.
You believe that blacks are put into prison at a higher rate than whites because they're not because of the color of skin?
No, I'm taking issue with the study, Bob. I'm just taking issue with the statistic that he cited.
Look at the death row, and any death row is overwhelmingly black person.
Let's get Kimberly in here.
I think blanket statements like that are dangerous, Bob. They're reckless because
no, they're facts.
No, Bob. I come from law enforcement and working in the justice system as a prosecutor for many years, and I'm telling you, I did not see that. It depends on the crime you commit, the nature of the offense, and any priors. Yes, Bob, that's correct. It depends on the crimes you commit.
Have you been to Pelican Bay in California?
Yes, actually, I have. And I have 2 contracts out of it.
And it's about 80% black, and it's about 80% black and Hispanic.
And the people that I put away there, every single one of them were white. All the death penalty cases I handled, every single one of them were white. So you can't make statements like that because it's reckless. We've accomplished a tremendous amount in this country in terms of opportunity and people moving forward. Could we do better with the justice? Sure. There's always room for improvement. But by and large, we have the best system of justice of anywhere in the world. You'll be the first to admit that, right?
Yes.
Not like we have Sharia law, so there is opportunity. There is rehabilitation, and there is punishment for recidivism, people who have priors. That's what I'm talking about. So when you hear someone like Condoleezza Rice get up and make a statement like that, that's empowering to people. That moves it forward.
And Eric, this was a commencement speech as well, but it seems like the Attorney General is doing this to gin up the base, to, you know, stoke racial tensions in the midterm elections so that he can gin up some Democratic votes.
Why? Because Kimberly's right. They don't want to move the ball forward. The ball is perfect for them the way it is right now. The left wants to keep it where blacks, frankly, vote Democratic, and they want to keep it that way. Look at our African-American conservatives. They're all for moving the ball forward. Look at Condoleezza Rice. Look at Alan West, Mia Love, Susana Martinez on the Latinos as well. The conservatives want to put race behind us and move the ball forward, as Kimberly points out. The liberals, let's keep it the way it is, because right now you have a voting bloc that they don't want to disturb.
Why don't conservatives go into a black Canadian campaign and come up with some ideas?
It's all about the votes.
When was the last time you could name me a conservative went into a black neighborhood?
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul was one. He's the one guy with some guts. The rest of them are gutless.
Hold on.
How do you think Chris Christie won in New Jersey?
So did Mitt
Romney. That's right.
He went into a number of minority communities.
Look, the fact of the matter is that I was talking about the members of Congress. They keep talking about this. The Democrats get 93% of the vote. They don't have an idea, except for Rand Paul did in Detroit.
Paul Ryan just addressed it, too, and he got whacked for it. Remember
Where
that?
did he do it?
He got whacked for it.
Where did he do it?
He made a huge speech about this and addressed it, all the problems in the urban inner city, and he got killed for it.
Where was he?
Remember when Eric Holder said you don't want to talk about racism because you're a coward? That's why. No one wants to say anything about it because you're afraid of getting labeled a racist.
But it's not even that. Bob, you have to admit, they're using race to continue to keep that 93% voting bloc. And look, it's smart politics, no?
I don't believe it for a second.
Yeah, it's all about politics. And I think it's really, though, unfair, Bob, for you to codify the black community. If you start in a middle-class family, then your message isn't worth it. Sorry, Condoleezza Rice, you didn't have to overcome anything. That's not fair. She made some great strides. She did a remarkable thing.
You can't diminish her accomplishments.
She came from a home with a mother and a father who were middle class. Most of these black
kids let's talk about
why
that is.
Fathers.
That most families don't have fathers in the African American community. That's a better message for Eric Holder than the one you delivered.
Then
all right, coming up.